Hi all and welcome back to my Let's Play of Morrowind. Here we are, where we left off last time at the Urshulaku camp. I've just realised we're pretty much entering the end game here. I think last couple of quests are the main quest, which I'm super excited to jump into and see actually how all this ties up. Yeah, it's hit a higher note as we've gone in, but I noticed we've been wearing some of the same armour since the beginning of the game. We've only just upgraded to this glass cuirass anyway, so I'm not sure what I think of it. It's more like emerald than glass, but who am I to judge? So, we want to be getting onto Vivec, because we have a meeting. So we will use a divine intervention, which will bring us to Nesis. Yes? Yes, Nice, yes? Yes. Which I can hear the Silt Strider. Little tip, if you're struggling to find a Silt Strider, they make a noise which is very obvious. Genuinely picked that up relatively recently and I was just like, I can't find the Silt Strider in this town. Oh, I recognise that noise, let's go that way. We want to be making our way to Vivec. So, I mean, we can do Saint Denis and then Vivec.
Why walk when you can ride?
I know, why walk when we can ride? Now, we need to be careful in Vivec, because there are ordinators, and we're not their biggest, not fan, but they don't like us. Something heresy. I don't know what they're talking about, really. So, I need to get to the High Fane Canton. Is it Canton? Temple. Redoran, Lalu, Alms, Talvani. I'm not actually sure which one we need to be getting to. We did have a note. I wonder if it's in our quests. I'm just going off the online thing at the moment, but I wouldn't mind knowing exactly where we're going. Trade mission, Grandmaster's Retort, Pilgrimages of the Seven Graces. I just want one that says Hortator and the Novarine. It gave me a package containing a message sent on behalf of the Archcanon Sorioni, High Archcanon of Vivec. In the event that I become both Hortator of the Three Great Houses and Novarine of the Four Ashlander tribes, Sorioni invites me to a private meeting to consider my claim. Once I am Hortator and Novarine, I should speak with the healer of the High Fane of Vivec, Danso and Dules, to arrange the meeting. I mean, you know, you could tell me where to find you, but I guess I will just go here and hope for the best, eh? The problem is, I can't remember if there's guards who walk on the outside or not around Vivec. My phone won't prop up the way I need it to. There we go. So I don't know how safe we are doing this. Apparently there is, in the Temple Canton, there's a way through in the Halls of Wisdom, so we will take that because we could do with avoiding Ordinators if possible. If possible. Right. Temple, so it's just straight down. Here we go. Oh, God. Whew. I heard the footsteps then, I was just like, I wonder where that is. So that's an Ordinator. Hall of Wisdom's across the other side. Are we free down here? Okay. Let's go all the way around and see if this works. We're doing sneak, but without the sneak skill. Or something like that, anyway. What is this end one? I don't think we've been up there. Hall of Justice. Hall of Wisdom. The Ordinators don't seem too bothered with this. I'm guessing if we talk to them, they will go a bit more aggressive. But this second, we seem okay. Now, I have no idea where to find this person we're after. So, let's just keep trying different things, eh? Okay, High Fane's this building here. I don't know what's going on with the Ordinators. I think something must have clicked in the game, changing exactly what's going on. But we're here. Could I have a name of the person we're trying to meet? Right. Here we go. Danso. Indules. Danso Indules. Right, we've got it. We've got it. Where be they? You, Danso? No. Okay, that's a locked door. Ah, I see what the game was potentially saying. I think there's a locked door, but there's always going to be an ordinator watching unless we go down from underneath. You know me, I'm using guides for this stuff. I don't know. It's weird. We talked about this a bit last episode, but I still stand by it, to be honest. I think there must be a balance between being able to figure things out yourself and having ready access to information. Because it feels like some of this stuff to figure it out ourselves would take a long time and take a lot of effort. But also, and I think if I wasn't being performative with it, if I wasn't trying to show the game and be online, I might be tempted to spend more time trying to figure this stuff out myself. But because we are doing that, and the main thing that actually we are getting out of the game is story, I'm kind of fine with just cheating our way through it and reading a guide. That's not to say that I do think it would be better to find a mid-level between having to use a guide and between sort of smushing your face against it and hoping for the best. Oh god, this place is like a maze. As always, the thing that we didn't do that we could have, that maybe would have excused it, would have been to use a map. Because if I just do that, I can see which one we need to get into. So, okay, that might be a part of me. But yeah, there's a balance with these things. Now turn around and go away, please. There's nothing happening here. And I will be disappeared when you come back. Right, I had to go around the corner and wait for 24 hours, stood on the spot. So, you know, just completely normal things. I'm glad we leveled up the lockpick skill a little bit. Hello? No. Are you okay? Round 2, because I got reported by the guy I was there to meet, so you know, I'm feeling a little betrayed. Just a tiny bit. But I think we should be okay this time to go through. There we go. And this is actually just the person we need to speak to directly. Thank you for coming, Maribo. You know the Temple's doctrine on the Nervery, and perhaps it's time to change that doctrine. Temple's doctrine. The Temple must protect the people from false doctrines, and your association with Imperial intelligence makes your motivations and integrity suspect. But you have been chosen Hortator and Nerverine by the Dunmer people, and we have reached a crisis with Dagoth Ur. We can no longer defend the people against the awakened 6th house. You and your prophecies may represent our last hope. Well, that scaled up very quickly. Our situation is desperate, but I would rather have you hear the details of our situation and the circumstances leading up to that situation. 1 second. Right, sorry about that. And that has also messed up my timer as well. 1 second, I think there's a way I can find out. 14:23, so if we call that 7 minutes or so. Okay, where were we? We've reached a crisis. Our situation is desperate, but I would rather have you hear the details of our situation and the circumstances leading up to that situation from Lord Vivec himself. He has asked to see you. Would you agree to a private meeting with him and hear what hear in person what he has to say? Yes, I will meet with him. Good. Here are 2 keys. One to the private back entrance to my quarters, the other to a locked entrance to Lord Vivec's palace. I regret that at present the Ordinators are not completely under my control, so for now I'll ask that you avoid confrontations with them. Lord Vivec is expecting you. His lordship is remarkably patient, but perhaps it would be better not to keep him waiting. Do you have anything else to say? Because I can imagine you've got some interesting stuff. Oh, you don't like me. Cressius? There's nothing here that I think he's particularly interested in talking to me about. Oh, right, just go away then. He doesn't like me, but he's willing to trust me with all this stuff. I must have locked that door when I came back through. Right, let's leave. I'm assuming this is where Vivec lives. It's where I'd live if I was Vivec. And we seem to have a key to the door. Not that we couldn't get through it. Oh, floaty man. Hello, Vivec. I expected you. We have business, you and I. When I was young, like you, I was very impatient, so I will keep our business short. Then later, there must be time for other things. First, I propose to remove my curse upon the Nervarine, end the persecution of the dissident priests, and proclaim to all Morrowind that Meriboot is the incarnate and Nervarine, the prophesied saviour of Morrowind, and the last hope to withstand the menace of Dagoth in the Sixth House. These things I will do, whether you wish it or not. Next, I propose to surrender to you the power and responsibility of defeating Dagoth. You may choose to refuse, I will not compel you. You will receive the power as a gift, in the form of an artifact called Wraithguard. You may accept the gift, then do with it as you will. You will receive the responsibility as an oath. You may give your oath, then keep it, or break it as you like. First, will you accept the Wraithguard as a gift? I mean, this is immediately heavy, but yes, I will accept the Wraithguard. Good. Sensible of you. And now, will you give your oath before all gods and men, before all spirits, visible and invisible, before my honour and your honour, to dedicate yourself and Wraithguard to the defeat and destruction of Dagoth and the preservation of Morrowind and its people? Yeah, let's swear. Not very sensible, but good. I was hoping for someone who would have no hesitation about making such an oath. You will now have a brief, momentary sensation of time passing. Don't be alarmed, you are being taken out of time in order to avoid the unpleasant experience of learning how to use Wraithguard. It will be over before there is a brief sensation. I like the way that they've done this in writing instead of actually programming it into the game. Sensation of motion in total darkness, floating but without a sense of weight or direction. You know it. Now I will notify the temple that you are our champion. There shall be no more persecution of the dissident priests, and I hope both sides shall swiftly be reconciled. We have time for questions if you like, or you may leave, as you wish, but I think there are at least 2 things you ought to know before you leave. How to use Wraithguard and how to defeat Dagoth. Defeat Dagoth. To defeat Dagoth, go to the Red Mountain to recover the artifact hammer Sunder from Gate Citadel Veminal. Then recover the artifact blade Keening from Gate Citadel Ordrosel. Oh god, mouthful. Then proceed with Wraithguard, Sunder, and Keening to the Citadel of Dagoth. Within the Citadel, find the heart of Lorcan. Use the 3 artifacts to sever Dagoth's connection to the heart, and he will be destroyed, and Blight ended on Morrowind. To destroy Dagoth, you must sever his connection with the heart of Lorcan. To do this, strike the heart with the artifacts Hammer, Sunder once, then strike the heart once more with the artifact Blade Keening. You must wear Wraithguard because you cannot handle either Sunder or Keening unless you are wearing Wraithguard. That is the short, simple explanation. Here is the long, detailed explanation, written down for your convenience. Read it, study it, commit it to memory. So, they have added a thingamabobbin, the thing that's going to solve the world, and solve all the issues, which I'm fine with, but they did do it because there's been mention of these thingamabobbins, but none that's so direct as this has a mechanical effect and this affects this, that, and the other. I do also have my window open, and you might be able to hear some kids screaming outside. I mean, I like the atmosphere, and I'd rather keep cool, so that's where I am with that. Just enjoy it or don't. Red Mountain. In my library, I've made available 2 conflicting accounts of the events of Red Mountain, my own true account and another false account common among the Ashlanders and preserved in the Apocrypha. I don't care whether you believe my account or not, I leave it up to you to be the judge of what's true. Red Mountain. My library. I want your trust and willing cooperation, so I've had the priest make copies of a number of documents. They're here for you to read and take it with you. Take a look at them. Help yourself. Council. All information about Dagoth. Where is Dagoth? Has never ventured out the Heart Chamber, the place under Red Mountain where the heart of Lorcan lies. I'm not sure if I managed to move that without making loads of noise, so there might be a weird cut there. It is there or nearby that he is constructing a new god, Akalaha Khan, also known as Second Nimidium. Now this is the stuff I like. What's his plans? We know nothing for sure, but we have learnt much from the interrogating 6 health cultists and victims of dream compulsions, and from our study of Dagothir's actions. The temple scholars and inquisitors have prepared a document, Dagothir's plan, that surmises what we know or suspect. Take this copy, it is available in my library. Powers. He is able to send his mind into the dreams of susceptible victims across vast distances. The victims are either swayed by his compulsions or driven mad. He also seems nearly invulnerable to physical and magical harm. His flesh and the flesh of followers evolves towards a mutable magical form. Dagothir and the highest ranks can control their distorted manifestations of their flesh. Lower ranks lose their control of their bodies and become mindless corpus monsters. I find it really interesting because what we know of Vivec is that he has basically controlled a religious order that suppresses the people and suppresses information. So we can't actually take him as being good. And even though he's opening up, the only reason he is opening up is because he's losing. So I don't trust Vivec at all, actually, which I think is interesting. Who can help? Cool. We've done all this, haven't we? Servants, chief among his servants are his 7 brothers, the ash vampires, powerful heart wights, and cunning sorcerers of old. These creatures appear to die, but always are revived at the heart. Somehow Dagothir has conferred some portion of his immortality upon them, or perhaps they sustain himself through more conventional sorceries. Actually, I believe we've finished our business. I will notify the temple that you are a champion. There will be no more persecutions yet. Wonder if we can kill Vivec. What's over here? Plan to defeat Dagothir. Series of aggressive raids. So it's just constantly attacking. This is a long plan, actually. Interesting. Let's take all these just in case we do want to read them at some point. Oh, if this wasn't so long, I'd super read that. Perhaps it's something we come back to. We'll have like a... I know I've talked about doing this before, but have like a book episode where we just do a load of reading. But surprisingly, reading be difficult sometimes. Cool. So, I mean, let's go to the Red Mountain, hey? There's the Ghostgate. So, let's go to Balmoral and Caldera. I have to say, I'm a little disappointed about how aggressive the Ordinators got. Like, I feel like there should be more with that. And perhaps that's limitations of the game. Like, these days you could easily set up a scripted event where you get attacked when resting or sleeping. To be fair, you could in this game, hence the Dark Brotherhood constantly trying to kill me. But I think it's, like it feels a bit half-assed. You know, they for 1 second wanted to kill me and the next second didn't. And I would think it would have been cool to feel like the repressive power a little more of Vivec, because it's almost like we felt this repressive power, went away for a few hours to like go and be named the right thing, and then he immediately accepts us. And that's just the like negative side of doing an open world game, right? Because you can never really predict your player when exactly they're going to make what choices. I do want to clear out my inventory, but if we're going Caldera, let's clear it out there. But I'll get rid of the stuff that Creeper went by. Yeah, you can never guarantee exactly which point your player is going to do what, and various games have tried to solve this in different ways, but the philosophy that seems to always underpin Bethesda-style games is completely player-directed. We make the choice of when to encounter things, and it's actually part of the reason that I don't mind looking at guides, because I can make the choice of how I want things to go. You know, oh, is there a way of doing this non-lethally, or is there a way of doing this will affect things later? The thing that's more important to me with these sorts of games, and this isn't so with all games, but with these sorts of games, is that I get to be the I get to be in control of the narrative and the character and the thing we're building whilst experiencing the story along the way. Whereas in other games, I'm definitely a lot more willing to sort of let the pieces land where they may. You know, being told actually these 3 choices that you made led. So The Witcher, you can make some choices in that game that like completely seem unconnected, lead to the deaths of like characters and stuff like that. And because of the way the game's constructed, with these sort of big narrative points that most players will have to go through, you can like the game expands out into multiple pathways but then condenses back into one, and then expands out and condenses, and there's different paths going off. And because it does that, you can have these big moments, and I'm like happy with leaving the resolution of the game in the game's hands. Whereas this sort of game, I feel like such an important proponent of it, and such an important part of the fantasy is building a character and building like a headcanon and my own narrative, or seeing how I want things to go. And it's especially why like people replay Skyrim or Oblivion or even Morrowind 100 times. You know, they want to see the game a little differently this time, or they want to have a different experience or a different story. And because you know the pieces that before the play, you can sort of in a meta way create that story before you even play. So that's, yeah, just a bit of a reason. I wonder what was attacking me then. Why I'm happy to sort of more easily like be in control of things in this sort of game. Whereas other games, I'm happy to sort of leave it as it be. And it sort of presents why some of these issues. So yeah, this is sort of going back to like I would have liked to have felt more oppressed by the Ordinators to some degree, because I think that's an interesting tool in an open world game, because it sort of forces your player to actually feel the power of various characters in the game, instead of it just being something that's told to you. You actually have a mechanical interaction with it, which is like really interesting. But the thing is, I've just, since doing the main story, since probably last 5 to 10 episodes, we've just mainlined the main story, meaning that we're not actually, it's not like we've diverged off and then gone and done some Thieves Guild and felt the oppression there, or it's not like it could affect us in any way, because the missions, I think on purpose, actually have it so that you do go off and go to areas where Ordinators aren't, so that you don't actually have to feel that. I think the game is actually does that on purpose. Sort of all this talk of open world games has made me think, and The Witcher as well, has made me think of Cyberpunk, and it's actually why I'm kind of half skeptical about that game. It seems like it has a lot of budget and a lot of a lot of ability to make something that's very very appealing in a graphical sense, but I want to make sure A, that the mechanics are there to back it up, B, that it's going to tell a decent story, and that also brain just farted, tell a decent story, mechanics, also that I don't feel like any developer has truly solved open worlds apart from maybe Breath of the Wild for me. Like, the way you engage with open worlds in modern game design terms is very one note. There's one way of doing it, and it's something I've done 100 times now, and so have a lot of other players. And I think that people will always enjoy that type of game because it really puts you in a place. But quite frequently now, there's a certain type of AAA open world game design that has become so commonplace and so frequent that it's just actually an immediate turn off for me. And that is a problem that I think is sort of semi-unique to myself, because I know plenty of people, for instance, love the Assassin's Creed games, and I played like 20 or it's about 20 hours of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I think the world is beautiful, and I think the gameplay is pretty decent as well. But I just found it boring very quickly. And it's weird, actually, because I feel like this is the sort of game that falls into the same category and falls into the same place, but it's not had that effect on me quite yet. And I think it is a different sort of open world, I think the Assassin's Creed style is very much, here's a list that's completely divorced from the world that tells you like places to go and ways to progress. Whereas like, especially Breath of the Wild compared to this, but Breath of the Wild, oh, this is really cool. Especially like a Breath of the Wild actually has it so that you organically sort of approach the world and discover things instead of being told where to go, which I think is interesting. I'm really enjoying this. I've kind of avoided this whole area of the map on purpose because I knew that there's a potential way that it could be huge and amazing and cool, so I'm glad it is. Yeah, that being said, I don't think open worlds are necessarily like immediately bad or anything, but I think there's definitely, you know, it was a common phrase even 3, 4, 5 years ago about open world fatigue, and the time has passed and there is still a lot of open world games, and I think I have the capacity to only do a few here and there. Right, I've already taken a screenshot of this episode. That's going to be the next one though, because that's excellent. That is going to be enough for today. That is going to be where we call it. Thank you for joining me. If you have any thoughts on open world games, write it in a comment and we'll have a conversation about it, definitely. Drop a like if you've enjoyed the video, subscribe for more Morrowind. There will be Fallout every Fridays and the occasional interspersement of deeper dives into other games, with a focus on currently immersive sims. Well, not currently actually, I've said that way ahead of time. There will be a focus on immersive sims and we will get there, but at this moment in time, it's just odds of different games. So, with that being said, and enough waffle, thank you and goodbye.